For thousands of years, a small human species known as Homo floresiensis inhabited a cave on the island of Flores in Indonesia. They were tiny, barely a meter high, using stone tools and living surrounded by unusual fauna, such as miniature elephants. However, some 60,000 years ago, they disappeared without a trace. So far, the big question was, what really happened to them? If you're interested in Homo floresiensis' story, don't forget to subscribe and give like. Your support helps us keep sharing fascinating content about human history and its mysteries. A new research published in Communications, Earth and Environment has given a response that completely changes the traditional account of the extinction of this species. For decades, it was speculated that the arrival of modern humans, the Homo sapiens, had ended them. But the new data points to a more silent and much more implacable cause: the climate. The remains of Homo floresiensis were discovered in 2003 in the cave of Liangbua, a humid and rocky place surrounded by jungle. There, between layers of volcanic ash and primitive tools, emerged a fascinating story. That of a human species that evolved in complete isolation, on a mountainous island where everything seemed smaller than normal, even elephants. These miniature elephants, known as Stegodon florensis insularis, were for millennia the main food resource of the hobbits. Their hunting was fundamental to their survival. But this interdependence also became their condemnation. An international team of scientists has accurately reconstructed the island's climate over the last 100,000 years, analyzing the chemical composition of a stalagmite found in the nearby Lianglua cave. This stalagmite grew, layer by layer, just during the critical period when Homo floresiensis disappeared. The results leave no doubt. Between 76,000 and 61,000 years ago, the island of Flores suffered a progressive but relentless drought. The annual rains plummeted, going from about 1,560 millimeters to just 990 millimeters. The most dramatic was the fall of the summer monsoon. Summer rains fell by up to 56%. Remaining at levels so low that the rivers stopped flowing for months. And with the drought, the ecological crisis came. Stegodon, accustomed to drinking large amounts of water, like his current relatives, began to disappear. Analyses of his fossilized teeth, found in the same layers as the remains of Homo floresiensis, show that these animals depended on the water of the river. When this was scarce, so did their population. The drought not only ended with food, also with drinking water. Conditions in the Liangbua cave became unsustainable. The vegetation receded, the soils dried up, and what had been a safe haven for millennia became a death trap. There was no choice but to leave. The exodus from Homo floresiensis to more humid areas of the island must have been the beginning of a last uncertain chapter. Where did they go? Did they survive for a few more centuries in another unknown refuge? What is certain is that they left the cave before the documented arrival of modern humans to Flores, which occurred about 46,000 years ago. This new study not only rewrites what we thought we knew about the disappearance of Indonesian hobbits, it also reminds us how fragile we are as a species when the climate changes. On small islands, where ecosystems are closed and the margins of narrow survival, a simple alteration in the rains can trigger a total collapse.